Here we go. Now, it's December 31st, 2020. And needless to say that 2020 has been a hell of a year in more ways than one. That's why I'm going to spend the next hour just talking about it. Let's get it. 2020, the good, the bad, and the ugly. First off, let's talk about. I mean, 20 like I said, 2020 wasn't all bad. Let's talk about the good things first. Now, one thing good about 2020 is some people actually got their stimulus checks. Well, I mean, a good portion of the population got their stimulus. $1,200. Now, $1,200 might not seem like a lot to some people, but to some people they needed it. But shit, I never got the damn stimulus, but it is what it is. And they're trying to pass another stimulus bill that's coming up pretty soon, and you do whatever the hell you want with that. And a lot of people are like, well, you should just invest your stimulus. Like, the thing is, I guess a lot of people, are clowning and joking on somebody saying invested. But thing is, a $1,200 investment really could go a long way. It really can. All right, but now another good thing about 2020, um, the Los Angeles Lakers won the NBA championship. That's one good thing. And like I said, to when we get to the ugly, I'll talk more about that later. But yeah, this year was weird for sports because because of COVID and everything. The scheduling for this year's NBA playoffs was very, very weird, and it kind of messed up everything. So the season was normally supposed to end in June. It stretched all the way to what? Late September? Yeah, late August, early September is how long the season stretched out to. But yeah, my boys, Los Angeles Lakers, are the 2020 NBA champs. So shout out and props to them. They earned it. I mean, like I said, we know this weird. This year's been weird. It's been crazy and whatnot, but props to them. Let's see. Another good thing about 2020. Uh, Space is out of the office. So as of January 2021, Orange Face, you know who are the 45 is going to be out of office. That's one positive that came out of 2020 is the fact that as of next year, we're not going to have to deal with Donald Trump anymore. Now, a lot of people say, well, Donald Trump wasn't that bad. He didn't hurt us. Even though he might not have hurt us, he sure as hell didn't help us either. And he didn't help us in more ways than one. So, yeah, his ass being out of office is one of the plus sides of 2020. Now, whether Bernie Sanders is going to be that much better than Trump, that remains to be seen. Like I said, I can't predict the future. I can't really tell you how it's going to go, but we're going to see. Let's see. Another positive or another good thing about 2020. Oh, yeah, and guys, feel free to help me out in the comments. I mean, leave some of the fun to you guys, but yeah. But yeah, another positive thing about 2020 was with the quarantine, with the lockdown, like if you were not an essential worker, you were essentially laid off, aka given a vacation. And some people use that time, away from work and away from their jobs to spend more time with their families, to work on hobbies, to get more in touch with their spiritual side, to work on their health, to reconnect with people, to establish and build new relationships. One of the positive things is that people use that time that they got from quarantine and lockdown to they used it. The quarantine wasn't all bad for them. They took that energy that they had, that they normally would for their work or whatever else, work, school, or whatever else, whatever time you used for quarantine, you turn that into something positive. That's one of the biggest things about one of the positives about 2020. And the thing is, that's something people overlooked. Now I know that money was an issue for a lot of people this year. I mean, that's what the stimulus is for. But hell, it's $1,200. But shoot, people who live in the United States, they got $1,200 to last them the year, while other countries like Canada, they got $2,000 a month. And the thing is, depending on your cost of living, and depending on where you at, and depending on your cost of living, that's chump change. So yeah, man, it really is. I mean, the thing is, it really could be Like you can either, like I said, you could have invested it or done something else with that money and with that time. Now, another positive thing about 2020 is at least we got the thing is sports, when it comes to football, basketball, baseball, professional wrestling, soccer, whatever sport that you're a fan of, at least we got some sports this year. Now, for the first, like when COVID first hit back in early March, a lot of sports promotions, they didn't want to risk the fans and the athletes getting sick. So we pretty much went about what 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks without any kind of professional sports. So yeah, to my boy Jay the Lightseeker on YouTube, Happy New Year, bro. Thanks, I appreciate it. But yeah, one of the positive things is that at least we got some sports this year. Like I said, it's been funny, especially with the way, I mean, and look at the way that the NFL handled it. The NFL handled the COVID situation a little bit differently, but I mean, because when you're on quarantine and you're a professional athlete and you got to travel, you are essentially in a bubble. So yeah. So I mean, at least we got an inkling of sports this year. Hopefully, it mellows out into next year. Hopefully, like when the cure I mean, when not the cure, but the vaccine is available to the public, then everything should be all right. But I mean, like I said, the sports world, like one of the biggest things, it affected everyone. It didn't just affect small businesses. It didn't affect restaurants. It didn't affect retail. It affected everyone. It affected lawyers. Some lawyers were out of work. They couldn't do their job. People who travel, like they couldn't do their jobs. Like if you were traveling, you were really under a strict guideline. If you're a traveling worker, because I know some traveling workers who didn't really get a chance to do what they needed to do this year, and that's a sad thing. All right, now another good thing. We actually had some good music this year. I mean, if you want to talk hip hop, if you want to talk R&B, if you want to talk hell, I mean, you could even go as far as, rock and other genres. Like we actually had some pretty good music this year. And there's a lot of local artists around where I'm from who have come up recently, and I want to shout them out. I'm not going to shout out every last one of the names, but I'm a fan of yours. You know who you are. So everybody, I mean, I encourage everybody to follow their dreams. Do your thing. I appreciate everybody. If you got, and also, it's given a lot of people this time this year with quarantine. It's given everybody a lot of time to follow their dreams, work on their side hustle, work on their business, or further pursue an education. So yeah. Now this one is kind of mid ground. It's kind of middle territory. Like it really does depend on which side of the fence you are on here, whether this is good or bad. Two words: social distance. Do y'all classify that as more good, or do y'all classify that more as bad? Some people was loving social distance. They don't have to deal with close. They don't have to be in close contact with people. They can be as socially distant as they want. They don't have to deal with crowds. They don't have to deal with lines. They don't have to deal with bumping into other people in public. They don't have to deal with none of that stuff. Like all this stuff, and you got to remain a safe, healthy distance. You got to remain 6 feet. You got to keep that social distance. So depending on who you are, social distance could be a good thing or a bad thing. Most people found it to be a good thing. Also, I mean, the thing is, I guess social distance was kind of given a reason for people to be antisocial. I mean, people was antisocial before, but because the social distance guideline came out, it gave people more reason to be more antisocial. But yeah, there's always that. Let's see. What's another good thing about 2020 that happened? Like I said, guys, for everybody watching, y'all feel free to what's up, J Spec? But yeah, for everybody who's in the chats on my Facebook and on my YouTube page, y'all help me out. What are some things about 2020 that happened to you? Now, another good thing is the label of essential worker. Now, I think they said that a good 40% of America, a good 40% of, well, not just America, but a good 40% of most major countries in the world were out of work, which means that if you were an essential worker, that means if you worked in retail, if you worked in the medical field, or anything of that nature, you were considered an essential worker. Your job was considered important. So you got paid more than what you normally got paid. Hey, Olympia, how you doing? But yeah, you got paid a hell of a lot more than what you usually got paid. So that's one of the pros to that's one of the pros of 2020 is for all my essential workers out there. So yeah, and the Olympia Horton, yes, 2020 was something. And that's why we're talking about it tonight. Like I said, first I'm gonna go over everything good about 2020. Let's see. What was another good thing about 2020? Is also it helped a lot of streaming services like Disney Plus and Netflix and Hulu, Amazon Prime, HBO Max. It helped a lot of these new streaming services and these new apps that are out. It saves people having to go buy a DVD at the store. It saves people, going to movie theaters. It saves people. I mean, it's like, well, every single app I have or every single thing that I have is at the touch and the click of a button. I mean, if you got a PlayStation, if you got an Xbox, if you got a smart TV, you pretty much have the majority of media at the click of your hands. So yeah, and the Olympia Horton, you said I've been watching Netflix nonstop this year. Everybody's been binge watching it. And speaking of that, like everybody is bit like one of one of the highlights of 2020 was Tiger King, Joe Exotic. Now, I had binge watched that whole series, I believe it was 8 episodes, 12 episodes, I forget which. But yeah, Olympia Horton, you made good grades all year. Congratulations to you. I mean, like educate like this. School was weird this year for a lot of people, but yeah, I'm glad that you kept focused, kept your head in the game, and pursued your education and kept your grades up. So for real, shout out to all my educated people out there and people who still are in college and pursue. Because I got a younger sister that's in college, and she's like they're not really allowed to go back on campus until I think they said January 21st. Other than that, you're going to be doing a lot of online classes. But yeah, Tiger King, that was one of my favorite series is this year to watch on Netflix. Like I said, I think it was like 8 episodes at first, eight 50-minute episodes. So, and me and a friend, we watched that in one night. So yeah. Let's see. What was another good thing about 2020 that I want to talk about? I'm the oldest. Yes, Olympia. I'm the oldest out of 5 children. What's up, Pierre? How you doing, bro? You caught up. I mean, you got on the stream live and just in time, bro. But yeah, I'm talking about all the good. Right now, I'm gonna spend the first 20 minutes. Well, I'm gonna spend about 10 more minutes talking about every good thing that happened in 2020 or all the positives for 2020. One of the positives was I don't look like it. Yeah, I know. I get that a lot. But yeah, one of the positives was the release of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. Now, I haven't gotten either system yet. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna save that for to be honest, I'll probably get it around spring 2021 because that's when most of the games that I want are gonna come out anyway. Well, actually, most of the games I want for the next gen consoles aren't gonna come out until like mid 2021. So yeah, but yeah, people have finally gotten what they wanted. The PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S, they're finally out. They've finally been released to the public. I mean, and especially it's a good one for the everybody who's been waiting on it. Like I said, I've been waiting on it just as much as everybody else. But like I said, I'm gonna be a little bit more patient. So yeah. And J Spec, he said, wait until all the bugs are worked out too. Yeah, definitely. That, like I said, that's one. The main reason why I haven't bought a PS5 or an Xbox Series X yet is because one, I'm waiting for more video games and downloadable content, and two, I'm waiting for all the kinks and all the bugs worked out. Because this is, like I said, this is actually going to trickle over into the bad section of the video. Is the fact that these systems have been released, but they've been released on a deadline, and the fact that there's been so much of a demand for the system that they can't keep up with the supply, and that's the main reason why I think they said like a good 20 to 30% of the PS5 and Xbox Series X systems have been glitchy, have been buggy, have just flat out not even worked. That's one reason why I'm glad I decided to keep my PS4. And I'm gonna keep my PS4. A lot of people got sold and got rid of their PS4s, Xbox Series, Xbox Ones to trade in for the PS5. Me, I'm never trading in a system for another system again. I'm always gonna keep my old generation systems. So yeah. But yes, the release of the PS5 and Xbox Series S, that's one of the positives for this year. All right, guys, help me out a little bit more with this. What's one of the positives, or what's one of the bright sides and good things that happened or about 2021? Let's recap and review. I went over stimuluses, I went over essential workers, I went over entertainment, us getting sports, I went over orange face Donald Trump being out of office. I went over let's see, what else have I went over? I went over with us being in quarantine and being on lockdown. We actually got time to spend with our families, start a business, develop a trade, start up a new hobby. Like that time that we had on quarantine, we got a chance to redirect that towards something else. So yeah, you guys got any other positives or any other good things that happened to you this year? Olympia Horton, you said being able to hang out with my mother. Yes. Family time, like I said, quarantine has really, taught us that family time is important. And also people have worked, even if it's not time with your family, you have time to yourself to develop, to work more on your mental health, because in the past few years, mental rehabilitation has been a outlet. Like some people who got mental health issues, or people who go through depression, they turn to drugs, they turn to drinking, they turn to negative outlets, they turn to violence. That's what people have all this negative energy in them, and they feel the need to direct it towards somewhere else. They feel the need to direct it somewhere negative. And if you have any kind of depression, or if you're going through anything, you need to take that energy that you have and turn it into something positive. And Olympia, you said cutting negative people out of your life, that's always a plus. And taking a break, it can be a stress reliever depending on what you look at, depending on what you're digesting, what your intake is. So yeah, longer, good 2 or 3 more minutes. Then we're gonna move to the negatives of 2020. But yes, we definitely got a lot of people got that off their chest. The fact that they need to people are taking more time to develop their. They need to get they need to mentally rehabilitate themselves. So yeah, definitely. Guys, you guys got anything else for me? Any plus? Any making sure? Keep a video diary. Keep a video journal. Oh yes, and one more positive thing is, even though this app has already been out for 3 and 4 years, the rise of TikTok. So yeah, like I said, TikTok has already been out since 2016, 2017, but I see a lot of people getting in on the fun with TikTok. So yeah, and the thing is, it spawned a lot of creative videos. A lot of people, y'all are very creative. Y'all are very on TikTok, and y'all are very in hell. A lot of people, they use TikTok as a personal outlet for themselves. So for all y'all, thing is, I've recently just for myself, I make like little funny skits and videos and everything like that too, just for myself. But still, I get, I just joined in the fun on TikTok because I thought it'd be something nice to get into, and I figure, hey, why not, for me to get in on the fun about TikTok too. So yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, and also I never used that Instagram. I never used that, but Instagram and YouTube, etc. Yeah, man. Like I said, I recently just got in on the fun of it. Like I said, I'm not gonna, TikTok myself to death, but I got a few friends who are freaking TikTok junkies. Even my younger brother, like I think he's got over 40,000 followers on TikTok. So yeah. But definitely. All right, guys. You guys got any more positive things? Any more like? All right, now let's get into. All right, we're at the 20-minute mark. So now we went over the good. Now it's time to get on with the bad. 2020 could not have been more of a depressing year. Now, the obvious horrible thing about 2020 is COVID-19, the coronavirus. I think they said a total of 1.3 billion have contracted COVID, and they said over I think they said over 1.3 billion people contracted it worldwide, but there've been over 10 million deaths. That's one of the most worst things. That's one of the worst things that's happened in 2020 was this strain of the coronavirus, slash COVID-19. Me, I'm lucky and fortunate enough to not contract it. Knock on wood. I hope I never get it. But yeah, I mean, I really do feel bad for everybody who suffered from it and everybody who's lost somebody due to the coronavirus. Because I mean, like I said, I was skeptical. I was skeptical like everybody else, man. Like I was, you know, like I said, I was skeptical about it, but at the same time, I was cautious. I'm still going to work. I'm still going to have fun. I'm still going to live my life. But at the same time, I'm going to take the same safety precautions as everybody else. So yeah. Another bad thing was because of the coronavirus, with the way the economy spiked. Like I said, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people got laid off. A lot of people, in certain lines of work that required you to be social, a lot of people really did, they like some people like went into an economic depression. Some people had to file for bankruptcy. Some people were in danger of losing their businesses, losing their house, losing their cars. They really were in danger of losing everything because there was a good month where the world pretty much just stopped. And yeah, 2020 was a crazy year. COVID was the main issue, and anything else was getting attention. Man, like I said, we're gonna get to that. We really are. But yes, COVID-19 was one of the worst things to happen to 2020. And also, like as far as there not being a cure or a vaccine, yeah, definitely. Like a lot of people say that they're not going to take it yet. I mean, me personally, I haven't even gotten a flu shot in the last time I was sick, or not once again, knock on wood. The last time I was deathly ill, like the last time I was sick to the point where I was on my damn deathbed, was 2015. That's the last time I had the flu, and I haven't gotten a flu shot since then. Now I haven't contracted COVID yet either, knock on wood. And I don't think that I'm going to get a COVID vaccine for at least the next 2 years or so. Well, I think I should be fine. Olympia, that's going to come on the ugly segment of my video, and we're going to get to that in about 10 or 15 minutes. I'm doing the bad first. But yeah. Also, one of the bad things about 2020, like I said, you can attribute to this, the quarantine. A lot of people, they really did not know how to act when because when a lot of places were quarantined, a lot of people really didn't know how to function because some people are so used to being social. A lot of people are so used to being outgoing. A lot of people might have a job that travels. When quarantine happened, a lot of people, a lot of people really did not know how to function, especially people who travel to work or people who do party and everything. Because like the clubs around, like especially in my area, clubs and social gatherings bigger than 60 people, hell, even 30 people, were pretty much shut down and limited from late March all the way up until late June, early July. That's how bad it was in my area. So yeah, the quarantine and the lockdown happening, like it really did change and alter a lot of people's lives with the way that it hit. So yeah. Another bad is the job layoff due to COVID. Yeah, like I said, like a lot of people, they lost their jobs. Some people small business owners, they were hurting because they really were not getting a lot of business. So yeah, that's one of the worst things, about this year. Another bad thing, the movie industry. Now, a lot of movies that were supposed to be released this year is going to trickle into next year. Like a lot of movies that I wanted to see, Wonder Woman 1984 was supposed to come out June, but it ended up not coming out until Christmas Day 2020. I still haven't seen it yet, so don't spoil it. But from what I'm seeing, it's getting a lot of mixed reviews. But like I said, once I see it, I'll give you guys my review and judge for myself. But yeah, the movie industry really was hurting. Now, if it's one thing that I love to do, is I like to go out and I like to watch a good film. But yes, the movie industry was shut down. I mean, and even here, like only a certain amount of people are allowed into the movie theater at a time. So still, like that really did hurt a lot of people. And also, there were toilet paper shortages, there were canned food shortages, there were cleaning products and supply shortages, there were medicine antibiotic shortages, there were milk and dairy product shortages. There was pretty like for from March all the and like this is somebody who worked in retail and not the restaurant business, but I worked in retail and the food business, not food business, but